So 4 practices in, I guess what's been your impression so far? What have you guys accomplished so far?
Ultimately, what we're trying to get done over the course of the spring is to establish a great foundation as far as our fundamentals, our technique, what we want to be as a defense from an identity standpoint. We really want to hang our hat on playing with tremendous effort, and I think through the first 4 days, I see the effort that we want. And that's awesome to see, especially day 4 today, where 4 in a row, that's hard. But the guys went out there and they attacked the day and are really got a real sense of, hey, these guys are holding each other to a high standard as far as the effort is concerned and how we're running the football. There's still a lot of small little details that we can clean up from a fundamental and technique standpoint, but really like what I'm seeing from an effort standpoint overall.
I'm sure when the season ended, you went back and evaluated how you guys performed. I guess what was your assessments of the Nevada 2024 defense?
Inconsistent. Just too inconsistent for us to have the results that we want as a team. You can start this very first game where we're playing against a playoff team and go right down to the wire and 1 point deficit to those guys. And another example where we go to Boise State and we play really good defense there. And then there's other games where we don't perform at consistency for four quarters the way we can and the way we've shown. And so that was an emphasis over the course of the offseason, was to figure out as a coaching staff, what are some things that we can do to make sure that we do get the consistent performance and execution that we want on the field every single day. And a lot of it stems from just the small little details, whether it's just the language, the terminology that we're using as an entire staff, which in turn is going to make sure that the players are all speaking the same language. And so there's no gray area from the standpoint of what we're asking them to execute. And I think that's really been an emphasis that we've really made sure that we established early on in this process way back in January, as far as going from building this thing from the ground up and really emphasizing all the small little details.
In terms of your staff, I mean, a lot of the same names, but maybe in different positions. I guess if you could just walk us through, I mean, maybe what some of those changes might have been.
Yeah, so first and foremost, as a coordinator, I get an opportunity now to kind of step out of a position room and kind of be more of, I don't know how to phrase it, as far as just oversee the big picture as opposed to really trying to focus on one position on any given day. So on a day-to-day basis, I get a chance to hop in this room, that room, and go watch individual drills and make sure, again, that it's all the same stuff from a verbiage and terminology standpoint. We moved Coach Nico Johnson, who was with the Edge last year. He's now working with the inside linebacker group, he brings a wealth of knowledge, having played that position at a very high level, at a championship level at the University of Alabama and then in the NFL. We brought a guy in by the name of Rob Christoph that's going to be one of our senior analysts that's going to help him in that position as well. He brings a wealth of experience from a coaching standpoint, and he's a guy that coached me back in the day, so there's some experience there and some obviously some knowledge of each other and background in that regard. We've got guys in the back end. Coach Joey Thomas is still working with the back end, but he's got the whole secondary and really is going to help bring that whole group together as far as that one voice. And then Coach Parker Henry is going to help him with the stars and the safeties. And we've got some other guys, younger guys, are going to help in that room as well, because that's a big room and a very important room. And then up front, Coach Pyam and Coach Tevis Bartlett are going to work together. Coach Pyam taking the lead as far as the front four, and then Coach Tevis really helping in establishing that edge as far as our outside linebackers and defensive ends.
By my account, one returning starter and Thomas Witte. I guess what are the challenges with so many new guys in big roles?
Yeah. So we've got some guys that, to your point, we don't have as much experience coming back, but the great thing about that is we get an opportunity to, again, essentially recreate this whole thing and build this from the ground up. So in turn, you can take advantage of the new guys coming in and establishing a whole new culture and establishing a whole new way of how we want to do things from a defensive standpoint. And I think that's, instead of looking at it as a disadvantage, we're going to look at it as an advantage. And Witte, having guys that do have the experience with Witte and Nelson Rapati and some of these other guys, and in the back end, we've got some guys that played a little bit, but we have the opportunity now for those guys to say, hey, here's what we want to get done. They can help take the lead as far as what standards they want to set, what standards that they want for this defense, and they can help lead the way. And as a coaching staff, we get an opportunity, like I said, to really acclimate all these guys into the culture and into the foundation of defense that we want.
With a low number of returning productivity, I mean, does spring take on even more importance just because you have so many new faces?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to evaluate exactly who we have on the roster. And then in turn, we can make the adjustments from a schematic standpoint to fit the personnel that we have. And I think that's a big piece of this. How do we find the right guys as far as who are going to be the playmakers or establish themselves, the guys that can be playmakers for us? And then in turn, we can adjust the scheme to make sure we put those playmakers in the proper position to make sure that we get the most out of the personnel we have.
What were the biggest things you were looking for in the transfer portal?
Well, obviously, when you lose basically your entire back end, as far as the starters are concerned, then you've got to replace those guys with some guys that have some experience or are coming from programs that are going to prepare them, or we have an idea that have prepared them well to where they can step in and have an opportunity to compete to give us the production that we potentially lost. So the back end was a big part of our portal hunting per se. You always are trying to find guys up front because you win up front as far as just on both sides of the ball, offense, defensive line. So we're always trying to add depth and add guys to that room. And then obviously we needed, when you lose against some starters at the second level as well, we needed to make sure we filled some of those holes with some guys that had some experience, and whether it was junior college football experience or the FBS Power 5 or Power 4 experience as well.
Only 14 sacks last year. I'm sure that was a disappointing number. I guess, what do you think was the biggest issue in terms of being able to get the quarterback on the ground a little bit more consistently?
Yeah, it goes a little bit of thing. It's the back end as far as our ability to disguise and hold the shell, or the pre-snap win as far as making that quarterback indecisive, hold the ball maybe a little bit longer. And then in turn up front, we just got to execute, whether it's the line games, the 5-man or 6-man pressures that we're calling in certain situations, and being able to execute those at a consistent level, and then just being able to win some one-on-ones. And I think, again, the effort was there. Our execution wasn't necessarily there all the time. And so going back to just what I said from the jump is we have to establish just that base foundation of fundamentals technique that will allow our guys to in turn execute in those moments a lot easier and a lot better and more efficiently, so where we can get to that quarterback and get that guy on the ground on certain passing situations.
Seems like you guys brought in a lot more multi-year transfers, but just in terms of 2025, are there like a handful of names you can give us who kind of need to be productive in this upcoming year?
Right now I'm not going to go down that road just yet. It's only practice 4 as far as spring ball is concerned, so I'd really like for us to establish ourselves as a full unit and get an opportunity to really evaluate these guys over the course of the next however many practices. Then maybe after spring ball we can talk again, and I'll have an idea or a better idea of, all right, hey, here's some names that we found over the course of these 15 practices are guys that have established themselves as potential playmakers, and guys for the fans out there to kind of keep an eye on as we progress towards that 25 season.
I guess what makes you optimistic about, the personnel that you have and what
you
guys can do
and that's I really just from the first 4 days. And going back really all the way to January, the first meeting that I had with this unit, and watching them over the course of winter and how they've taken to everything that we're trying to get done from a coaching standpoint. The way they attack the meeting room, the way they attack the weight room, the way they attack every single practice from the standpoint of not only crossover 11-on-11 drills, but how they're attacking when we first get out there from a walkthrough standpoint, our individual drills, and every small little detail these guys are trying to grasp onto as much as they possibly can. And you can really feel the unit as a whole, the chemistry that they have right now, or that they're trying to establish. And so I'm very excited about what we're going to be able to do just based on those things. The fact that they are attacking every single day and trying to be their best version of themselves every day.
I'm talking with some of the offensive guys on Tuesday. I mean, they kind of said that as well. Is that a different feeling, maybe in preparation or just focus or discipline, than you guys felt last year?
Yeah, I mean, and that's to be expected when it's year 2. And it's the same staff, and we've gotten an opportunity to really establish ourselves as a staff. We've gotten a chance to really know what this place is all about and what we want this place to be. And so now we came into this thing in the offseason with that mentality of let's attack this thing from the jump and establish right away of what we want this defensive culture to be all about. And that matches up with what this team is going to be all about. And so I think that's been really fun.
I think ESPN did like a most returning productivity year over year, and your guys' defense was 5th lowest in the nation. Is that like a daunting stat for you, or you kind of mentioned, it's maybe a positive because now you can kind of reset everything that you're doing.
100%.
Feeling like they already have jobs.
You can look at that statistic and go, yeah, whoa, this is going to be an uphill battle. Or you can flip it in your mind and utilize it as motivation and utilize it like we are as an opportunity for guys to step up, figure out, all right, what personnel do we have, how we put those pieces in the proper place to be effective and in turn be the productive overall defense that we want to be. At the end of the day, this thing's a team game, and our defense is going to be a tremendous team unit that's going to be highly productive as a unit, as opposed to it may not be one individual that stands out from a statistic standpoint, but as a defensive unit, we're hoping that the ultimate statistic that we get is those W's at the end of the day.
Coach, I know you said there's not really standouts as right now. It's only practice 4, and you still got a whole spring ball to go through. But when you're looking at the transfer portal, looking at recruits, who are some of the names that really stood out to you? It's like, yes, I'm happy I really got that.
Just through first 4, then you start in the back end. I think Mervin Kenyon from that we got from Sac State. I think he's a guy that's really over the course of the winter so far, the workouts. Najee Logan at the second level is a guy. E.J. Smith. The guys up front that we brought in, all of them, I think, and I don't like, again, singling out too much already because, again, there's so many guys that, whether it was the new guys that we brought in or we've got returning guys, I mean, Jackson Barton, I mean, you got Denon, and there's so many names that I could throw out there that I'm just very excited about how everybody's been attacking this thing in the offseason. Stone Combs and some of these guys that did have the experience from last year that are coming back, and they weren't necessarily your starters or your guys that were making headlines and all that, but they were guys that were helping behind the scenes establish the culture that we want as a full team and as a defense. And so that's why Dylan, for example, another name that you could throw out there that are helping us establish this thing the way we want it to be established and to grow the way we want it to grow. And so, again, I know I threw some names out there, but reality is it's everybody. It's the whole unit that I think has really grown quite a bit over the course of this off season, and not just grown as individuals, but you can feel them growing as a full unit.
I guess just impressions through spring camp so far. I know it's early.
Oh, it's been fun. It's the first week, almost done. We got one more good day tomorrow. We're going to put the work in, and it's been good, though. I mean, we've definitely bonded a lot over the winter ball and our workouts, and I feel good about this team being together as a team.
Yeah, take us through winter. I guess what were you guys doing? What were some of the objectives, and how did the team bond closer together through those sessions?
We were just working our butts off, giving everything we got, and we just grew as a team. Challenges together. We got accountability teams that we hold each other accountable, win points, so everybody wants to be doing good, and it just feels like a closer family and just a nice, close knit group.
Yeah, and Coach Cho kind of said that that's the players he's looking for after his first year. Kind of knows players who fit at Nevada, and you kind of, it seems like, fit a lot of those characteristics, kind of blue chip, maybe overlooked throughout your career. I mean, do you kind of see that as, you're maybe the player that he's looking for, just in terms of all of the personality and characteristics he wants in a player?
I guess I'm just playing football, man. I just do what I'm told, and I just try and work my ass off, and yeah.
Why do you think you guys are closer as a team heading into this spring?
I don't know exactly, but yeah, I don't know exactly.
How did, I guess, the end of last season kind of help, give you some confidence,
yeah,
maybe some belief?
So the end of last season definitely I put a chip on everybody that's returning. That put a chip on our shoulder. I mean, every day when we go in the weight room, I think of that. Every day when I go out to practice, I think of losing that game and how bad that hurt, and I want to do everything I can so that doesn't happen again.
I mean, if you go back to this point last year, not a lot of people around here would have known your name, but you did get a lot of playing time toward the end of the year and kind of establish yourself as one of the better players on the defense. I mean, did you kind of feel that? I mean, where did you grow most throughout 2024?
Definitely through the season. I mean, I just tried to get better every week. I got a little bit better, and eventually it worked out in my favor. But I mean, that's not all me. That's the coaches helping me. That's the Lord blessing me with the abilities to do this. And I mean, really, I just got put in the right position, right time, and it worked out.
When you look at that defense, not a lot of returning, starters at least. I guess who are some of maybe the new guys on the line along with you who you think need to play big roles for you guys this season?
New guys on the line. Logo from UTEP was a big boy. He's a big boy. And Bryce, Jack McKinnon. There's a whole bunch of new guys. I think they're all doing a great job, fantastic job. They're putting in the work, and it's going to pay off.
About 50 you guys on last year's roster still on the roster. I guess what kind of leadership were you trying to show? What kind of example and standard are you trying to set for the rest of the team?
Yeah, we're just trying to, just show up every day and be the example. Just work how we work and just bring it. And hopefully, I'm not the most vocal guy. I don't like to talk much, so hopefully they see what I do. But I need to step into that and kind of try and talk a little more.
You guys have, a few guys back on the line, Thomas Witte, Maldonado.
Yeah.
I guess what are your just thoughts on the returning guys and how you guys are going to have to kind of lead the group?
And Nelson Rapati, don't forget.
Yeah, Rapati too, yeah.
Yeah, and Thomas Witte's doing amazing. He's the guy. And Maldonado's been impressive. He hit a real nice spin move in practice the other day, and I've been liking how he's been playing. I think it's still the first week. We all got to work out our footwork and whatnot and get used to playing again, but I think it's going pretty good.
You guys kind of shook up the coaching staff a little bit. Just walk us through your guys' position coaches and.
Yeah, so Pyam's in charge of the whole D-line now, so the edges and the D-line are together. And then we also have Coach Tevis, who's mainly the edges. So I think that just brings us together, because last year sometimes the edges were on a little bit different page, but now they're nice all together.
Yeah, just in terms of meetings and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What makes you optimistic about the upcoming year?
What is optimistic?
Oh, just I guess encouraged. What gives you, I guess, a great hope for what you guys can accomplish as a defense this season?
Our talent. We got a lot of talent. Like I said, we're closer together this year, and I like the way we're working. I think we show up and work every day.
Overall, it seemed like you guys are just having fun, whether it be defense, offense, everybody together, all this stuff. How is practice just? How do you plan on carrying those vibes and the high vibes and everything into summer, fall, and then eventually the season come 6-7 months from now?
Yeah, I think it's the competition part of it. I think when we compete, it's fun, and you want to win, and just having competitions throughout, just kind of like we've been doing, like that one-on-one the other day at practice. That's that fun stuff that gets the team going, the energy going.
Got another Butte guy here in Snelling. I think
Yep.
you didn't play with him, but his dad. I'm sure you saw him kind of growing up through the program. I guess what are your thoughts on him joining you guys here?
Oh, I'm excited about it. There's 3 Butte guys now because Caleb Ramsey went to Butte too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited, and that's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. He's doing a good job. I think he's stepping in good, fitting in good. So yeah.
Were you part of that egg toss?
Yeah, I was a part of the egg toss.
You
Yeah,
guys won,
yeah, we won
What
it.
was the
Yeah,
strategy there?
soft hands, man, soft hands.
First time you've done the egg toss? Or?
Yeah, first time I've been able to do it. I think this is the first time we've done it, but it's kind of nice. In these last 2 spring balls I've been here with Choate, we do these fun little competitions in the middle of practice. Kind of makes us, kind of have more fun in the long term of, practices back and forth, hitting each other. It makes us have a little bit of fun.
I think you walked during senior day, right?
I did, yeah.
Did you know whether you were coming back or not? And if you walked,
Well, honestly, yeah, I didn't think I was going to come back. I thought I was just going to be done. But I had 1 more year of eligibility left, and I didn't feel like I accomplished my goal in football, so I decided to come back.
I guess who kind of talked you back into that, or was that just kind of self-reflection?
Yeah, it was me and the coaches. I've had more fun in these last year and a half than I've had in years past, so I was okay with coming back for 1 more.
You said you hadn't accomplished your goals, so I guess what's on the to-do list this year?
Yeah, I've as a starter, I've played a lot of football, but we haven't won a whole lot as me being a starter. And I feel like that my goal is to bring Nevada back to winning. Yep.
What's it going to take?
I think that it just takes all of us together towards one mission. That's why I'm a little bit excited about this season, is that I feel like we're a lot more close-knit group than we have in years past, and I think that we're all kind of heading the same direction and towards of a winning season.
My coach kind of mentioned that he was looking for chip on the shoulder, blue collar kind of
Yeah.
guys in the portal this year, which was maybe different from last year. You have those roots.
Yeah.
How have you seen that manifest in the locker room and maybe just the togetherness or the discipline of this set of guys?
Yeah, I think that they did a good job bringing in guys who would help build the culture and become ingrained in the culture that we're trying to build here. Guys like Jet Carpenter and Luke McIndoe, guys like those guys are super cool dudes that I think have just came in, adapted, and have came along with us in this journey.
I think you're the only returning starter on the defense.
Yeah.
I guess as you rebuild this thing, what are you looking at to make sure you guys are on the right track this spring to be ready to play good football in the fall?
Doing the things the right way. I guess it's, it's our kind of our motto of our defense, the small things equal the big things. And, I think that's one thing that I'm kind of looking for is that, you don't have to do everybody's job. If you do your job and that guy does his job and the other guy does his job, then we'll be a good defense. I mean, these are good coaches, and just as long as everybody's on the same page and we listen to what these coaches are coaching us, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you go down the roster, it's not like a lot of guys who have put up a lot of stats, but is that mentality kind of seeping through the rest of the team?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what stats you're putting up.
Exactly.
We've got the pieces to be successful.
100%. And I think that main thing is just, doing your job. It's not hard knowing what you're supposed to do and doing it the right way. And if you do that, then all the pieces will come together.
Was there a focus for you in the off season as you got ready for this season to get better just from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, I think that I was at a good weight, but I think just overall getting in better shape. I think I lost 4 pounds of fat over the off season, so just kind of that getting faster, stronger, but maintaining the same weight at the same time.
Would you say you went through last season kind of thinking this was the last time you were doing all these things?
Yeah.
I guess, does that give you a different appreciation for the game just coming back?
Yeah, when I walked off the field last year, I was looking at all my friends who I came in with, and they didn't have an opportunity of coming back. And, we didn't feel, I'm just talking about my general friends, we didn't feel like we had accomplished what we wanted to do when we were all starters. And so I had the opportunity of this one last year, and so I decided, you know what, if I have the opportunity, I might as well take it,
You know how many guys from your original class are still here in that locker room?
I think I'm the only one.
What does that feel like?
It's a little bit different, but, the carousel of college football, I've learned how to adapt and meet new guys and become new friends with new guys, and so that's kind of the mentality I kind of take with it.
Tell us about the new guys on the line. I guess who's kind of standing out to you? Who do you need, big production from?
Yeah, we got our boy Logo. He's transfer in from UTEP. He's we were kind of lacking a little bit of size last year, I would say, on our defensive line. I don't think we had any guy over 290 pounds. Logo's a big body that we could use in those short yardage kind of situations, and he's also a guy who's just adapted and become a part of the locker room as well.
Well, what makes you optimistic about the season and what the defense can do?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, is just our overall togetherness. I think defense, obviously you have to have playmakers, but like I said, it was doing your job and having the ability of just like being together, being on the same page, having that camaraderie, rallying to the ball together, celebrating together, and all that kind of stuff. And I believe that we have that kind of togetherness as a team right now, or we're trying to build it.
I would say, what kind of work has gone into that, and then how do you build something like that?
It's just overall, I think that these coaches have done a good job of creating opportunities to, all the players, all the new guys to be in these different kind of teams through the off season and like getting to know everybody and all that kind of stuff. But then it's also on the players of, hanging outside, going and get food somewhere, hanging out with other guys, It kind of takes the work on the players, too, to go get to know your teammates. And I think that's what we've been doing.
As one of the older guys on the team, I guess, what would you describe leadership as, and what do you want to try and bring from that perspective?
Yeah, leadership. I would say that leadership, is I guess I would be I'm the oldest guy. I've probably played the most football on our defense, I'm trying to be the beacon for everybody to follow. If I can set the example and try to do the right things the right way, and then there's no reason other people can't follow me. And then I try to bring people together who aren't necessarily on the same page.
You talked about the fun that you've been having the last couple of days, egg toss, all that kind of stuff. How do you plan on keeping the vibes as a leader for the rest of the spring camp, going to the summer, going to the fall, and events at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I would say that just overall with spring ball, we're not playing any games. So to just remember that this is a time to get better, fine-tune your craft, but at the same time, go out there and have fun. I mean, we play this sport to have fun, and that's also a reason why I came back. I love playing football. I have fun playing football. And so if you just, remind the guys, hey, take a breath. I know it's stressful. We're out here hitting. It's competitive, but we love to play football. That's why we came here. That's why we do it. We've been playing this game since we were kids. So you just try to remember or remind the guys that have fun and remember why you do it.
In terms of like the spring and how it's kind of changed, no scrimmages, not a spring game. I guess what has been kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why we're doing kind of some of that stuff. Like I was saying, understanding the fundamentals of what your job is, specifically your job. I think that's what we're trying to teach right now, is making sure, like I was saying before, everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows their job and knows how to do their job well. And so I think that's the approach that we're taking.
You said it's kind of, you want to be part of getting Nevada football back to where it's supposed to be. I guess what would it feel like to be able to walk off the field for the final time and know that you've accomplished that this year?
Man, it would be amazing. Yeah, it would be awesome. I don't know how words would describe it, but I'd feel proud to walk off the field and be a Nevada football player and know that, we did something here.
Knowing that you want to, bring back a winning culture with bowl game?
We hope so, man. Yeah, we hope so. At least a bowl game, man. That's the mission right now.